Yes, we are here. Master your emotion and find your truth and find your own truth and then live with your own truth. Maybe in the next month, I'm going to change that name. Yeah, I'm just only feeling like that. But at the moment, yeah, let's go keep it like that because truth is the truth. So today is the number 42. Like some of you knows, I had a long time break recording the podcasting because I was working on myself. But now I just only came back. It's a 42. So like always, I drawn to the angels. So 42 is an angel number, and I would like to give you the meaning a little bit because some of you needs to go and do the work by your own. I'm not going to give you everything on the tray and just says, here you are, you can have it. You can own it. You need to earn it, that stuff. Anyway, that's your experience on this planet. Coming back to the number 42 is a number of growth, opportunity, but also it's taking and bringing some challenges, uncomfortable challenges, but that's the way how you can grow and evolve. And also you need to know that's the number of the big transformation. So everyone who is watching us today, you're in the right place, right moment. And because we're going to unravel lots of beautiful information, even you never dreamt about it, probably you know, but unconsciously you don't, everything was suppressed. Let's go say it this way. Again, consciously, you don't know. Anyway, thank you so much for watching me and for watching us. And today I've got a beautiful soul. As a Laura Van Tyne, is that good
Van Tyne.
pronounce?
Yeah.
Yes,
Van Tyne.
that's good. Amazing. So yeah, she is a beautiful remote viewer, author, and speaker. To be honest, I didn't read your book yet, but I'm going to do that soon as possible. I've got a big pile of the books close to my bed, and I'm still
It's
waiting in the
hard.
order. And I'm reading the three books at the time. So sometimes one day I just read a bit, another day. Anyway, it's not about me, it's about you.
I do the same thing when I read, by the way. I always have 3 or 4 books at one time that I'm reading. A little bit here, a little bit there. I understand that.
Okay, yeah, because when I need this information, I'm grabbing this. And yeah, that's everywhere. But Laura is specializing in the past life regression, etheric implants. Let me just only read it a little bit. Quantum healing hypnosis. I need to ask you about this as well because I didn't hear about this. As a MILAB abduction and soul integration and spiritual self-defense. That would be so amazing to hear a little bit more about these subjects during this podcast. How are you feeling today? And thank you for accepting my invitation. Would you like to
Oh,
say a
I'm
little bit about yourself?
I'm great, thank you. It's a great way to wake up. It's 8 a.m. here, so it was perfect timing.
Oh, I almost going to bed. 4
I
p.m.
know, right? And so I'm wonderful. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity. And yeah, let's see what we can go get done. And you talked about wanting to know more about, was it the hypnosis?
Uh, yes, about everything, but let's go begin a little bit. Maybe you can give a little bit story about yourself, about your backgrounds. How did you be drawn to and do this work?
Well, so my life took a serious left turn along the way. I was a middle school math and Spanish teacher for many years.
Oh wow.
And one day the paranormal hells opened up in our house, and our home was full of ghosts and dark entities, and they were after my one of my daughters. It was like we were living a Hollywood horror film for 10 years, but the credits never ended. It was awful. In that process, I quit teaching, and my husband and I agreed we had to figure this out. And so in that process, I pretty much stopped everything to figure this out. And I talk about this a lot. We all have these moments in our life. What is your defining moment, right? What was the one catalyst in your life that got you to wake up, to change, to do something different? And for me, we're about 2 or 3 years into this horrors of hells, and our daughter comes running down the hallway and races into bed with us and says, "Mommy, mommy, the shadow men are in my room, and they said they're going to steal my soul to break you." 6-year-olds
Mm,
don't talk like that,
no.
right? And from that moment forward, I can honestly say I didn't sleep for the next 5 to 6 years. If I got 2 solid consecutive hours of sleep a night, that was good. I was so concerned and afraid that if I fell asleep, they would do something to my daughter. And my daughter's asking me, well, what's a soul, mommy? Why do they want mine? Right? How do you explain that stuff? So without terrifying her. And so I, I left no stone unturned. Yeah, any mom would just move mountains for their child for the most part. And that's what I did. And what I learned along the way was what didn't work. Rarely did I find something that did work to solve our problem. And sometimes those are the best lessons in life, is what doesn't work and why. The why is crucial. When we can understand the why, it gives us insight as into moving forward, even at a deeper level. And so, I was talking to every shaman, every psychic, every religious clergy, everybody I could get my hands on, studying every book I could find, trying to figure this out. And this is almost 20 years ago, and the internet wasn't what it is today. And I'm a school teacher, and I know that if our family secret got out, the United States version of the Child Protective Services would come and remove my child. That was a very, very real thing. And so, long story short, we ended up making it work out. I got control of the situation. I learned a lot along the way. And this is what I do today, because there is so much information out there that is false, that the dark side, the dark entities want us to believe works. So if we believe that sage really works, we don't have a really truly powerful tool to use. We just have something that we waft around and we feel satisfied and we can move on. The problem doesn't get fixed. And along the way, what were the three gifts of the three magi, the magi that the Christ child got? He was gifted frankincense, gold, and myrrh. Why was he gifted gold? That makes sense. We think of it as a monetary value, but why was he gifted frankincense and myrrh, which are basically tree saps, right?
Yeah.
That makes no sense, right? Well, they're the lifeblood resin force of a high frequency tree. Compared that to dry, crispy leaves from a shrub, there's a big difference. And so sage is good for certain things. It's a antimicrobial, it cleanses, but maybe not in the way that we really need, especially nowadays when everything is out of balance. All these dark, we are being so heavily impacted by the unseen energetic world that, if sage worked 200 years ago, is it really working now? Everything evolves.
Yeah.
Even the dark side evolves. So we need to be smart, and we need to understand that we have to keep adding to our spiritual toolboxes and figuring out what works and what doesn't work and the why. So that's how I got started. It was not pleasant. I would be a retired school teacher by now with a pension, sitting back, going on vacation twice a year.
Yeah, yeah. I love to how you share that information, because I remember when my daughter, I didn't know that before, and that happened not so long ago, maybe 3 years ago, and when all the planet Earth was stopped. Okay, so my daughter, she had a lot of eczema, and anyway, that was the circumstances before. She just only her skin was covered all over the places. Oh, that wasn't a space without any clean spot. And that day, I remember I didn't sleep 2 months at all, and my period stopped, and everything stopped, like everything frozen. I was looking also the support in others humans, but I found a beautiful homeopathic doctor. Anyway, he helped a lot, and that's, God bless him. But it's not the point about it. The point is about the entity inside her. Because one day when she was sitting, I remember that day, I've got the goosebumps now. I remember that day she was sitting on the sofa and she wasn't herself. She was like, it looks like a completely like a demon. It's like a low vibration, really low vibration energy. And when I look at her eyes, oh, I've got again goosebumps. So when I look at her eyes, I just only felt that energy. I was like, I couldn't describe you that energy. You know that stuff what I'm talking about. And then I
Oh,
start saying that I love you. Why you are here, you not belong to here. Just please go to the source of the energy, go to the God and go back. That's your place. You lost. And I didn't know how to do it. And I didn't know why I was doing that, but I was loving my child. So I was doing everything. And after 20 minutes, I was hugging my daughter because she was like to go away, go away, go away. That was fight between me and that vibration, which one doesn't belong to her. And after 20 minutes, she calmed down, she started crying, patching out. And then I left her and I went to the bathroom. And the bathroom, that was for me, wow, catharsis. I was shaking, I was patching out, I was dealing with that energy by myself then. So I know what you're talking about. So I've been guided by my intuition. Shall we just only say a little bit around the intuition? How is the intuition is important for us and how we can recognize as well?
Intuition is our most profound, important psychic ability. And it's not the sexiest of psychic abilities, right? People want to see dead people all the time, right? It's
Yeah,
really, it's about our intuition. When we can learn, and most of us as children have had the intuition beaten out of us as children, right? Oh, you're crazy. Oh, don't think that. Oh, you're being this or that. So we need to, especially nowadays, parents, we need to help our children develop and trust their intuition now more than ever. And as adults that have had it taken away from us, we need to reclaim that intuition. And there's a lot of things that we can do to help us regain our intuition. And sometimes it is simply when you're driving down the road, trust yourself. Do I go left or do I go right? And find out what the answer is. It could be that simple. It can also be writing words down on like 3 cards and, red, blue, green, and just feeling the energy of the card to say which one is the blue card, which one is the green card. That's a little bit more sophisticated, but we all have it within us, and we have to learn how to trust our intuition. When we trust our intuition, it connects us to our higher self and to God source so much easier, so much quicker than if we are separated. When we cut our intuition off, we're literally cutting ourselves off from God. And that's what the dark side wants and needs from us. They rely on us to not trust our intuition. And when we do trust our intuition, another important element we regain is our free will.
yeah,
As humans, God gifted us free will, the ability to make choices, have actions, have reactions. But many times, these dark entities, so you as a mom, when you are working on that entity that entered your daughter, and by the way, that's more common than we may want to ever believe. But you used your intuition and you were able to remove it from her. And then you actually went to the restroom and did battle with it. And I understand that. You used your intuition, which probably saved your daughter's soul, because what that entity will do is they will slowly take over more and more pieces and soul elements of your daughter. They can even remove the entire human soul from the body, take over the body. And then what happens to your daughter's precious soul? I'm going to tell you right now, it's not good.
I know. Yeah.
And you were able to protect her and save her. I have a question for you. After you did that, did her eczema tend to go away?
Yeah, that then slowly, slowly, step by step. It's not over the night, but that
Something
was like,
was
yeah,
making her
moved.
skin crawl, right? Something was making her skin crawl. Her subconscious self was being terrified. Her subconscious self knew what was happening,
Yeah,
but her subconscious self didn't have that voice. But you, as a mom, moved a mountain, which was a demon. And if we can all do that within our own circle, within our own sphere, I'm not talking about anybody going out looking for these entities because that's just
oh,
dangerous and
please
flat out
don't.
stupid.
No, please don't do it.
And what we can do is we can learn how to raise our vibrational frequency. And that's kind of a buzzword, and we hear raise your frequency all the time. What does that mean? So if we look at frequency as a harmonic scale, or even in music, right? Everything is a vibrational tone. The higher the harmonic scale, the higher the vibration, the higher the frequency. What can we do? There's a few things we can do that are really simple. If you are dealing with entities in your home and you need to clear your home, one of the easiest things we can do is play Mozart music. You go on YouTube and get an 8-hour track of Mozart music, play it really low, keep it going. If if you're familiar with the work of Dr. Masaru Emoto, Emoto, the Japanese
Mm-hmm.
scientist, and he studied the water crystals. He knows that we are mostly water, and he was studying water crystals in polluted rivers and dams. And what he would do is he would take a slice of the water, freeze it, and look at it under a specialized microscope, and it would be misshapen, discolored, dark. But if he were to play Mozart music to that water crystal, all of a sudden it starts to glow and it becomes symmetrical. That is proof that this works. Play Mozart music in your home. It can be that simple. That's one of the many things we can do to raise our frequency. Learning how to find some joy in our lives is another way we can raise frequency. And joy is a very high frequency emotion, but we are living in such times where we are taught to be very, very afraid, be subservient, follow, follow, follow. And it robs us of our joy. We have to understand we're in control. We don't need to let any, I'm going to say governmental agency or any institution tell
Mm-hmm.
us what we need to be thinking and feeling. We have the power within ourselves because God gifted us free will.
Yeah, that's amazing. But about the free will, is that really free will? We've got that free will because you said that we suppress that our intuition. Actually, okay, that's two questions. It's coming to my head because we have so long talk. But is that really we suppressed our intuition, or we've been pushed or forced to suppress our intuition, or somebody just had put a hand on it, on us, on ourselves, and that's why we not able to go and just only unravel that intuition inside us. What's your thought
That
about it?
when somebody can rob us of our intuition, it takes away our God connection. And
Mhm.
we have been taught in religious institutions, um, parents, teachers, etc., not to trust and just do. So we have to take our power back. We have to learn how to rebuild our intuition. Because what happens is we start to have a deeper connection to God, which raises our frequency, by the way. It helps us to grow our spiritual teams, and we can talk about that in a bit here. And the role this plays in our free will, we have been gifted free will, meaning we have the ability to make decisions. But these dark entities, the unseen energetic world, will do what they can to take away our free will. All of a sudden, let's say I have unexplained anxiety. Where did this come from? It's not mine, but I feel anxiety.
Okay.
Okay, this is the dark side. You're feeling a very low frequency energy. It could be blasted at you from a dark entity. It could be many different things. If they're blasting it at you, you're not in rhythm, you're not in resonance with that low frequency, so it creates an anxiety within you because that's your subconscious saying something's not right. A lot of times these entities will also put thoughts in our heads. I had a young girl who kept waking up to the thoughts of go kill yourself, go kill yourself, go kill yourself. And she said it was always in patterns of threes. And I worked with her because this is what I do is I work with clients to remove dark entities. As I work with her, we remove the dark entity. And I didn't know in the beginning that she was being told to kill herself.
Okay.
And I asked the entity, why do you want her to kill herself? And he said, because when she commits suicide, he says, he was so arrogant, this entity,
Mm.
then I can take her soul. So, by the way, she's still alive and well, has not committed suicide because we removed that dark entity. And for anybody listening out there, if you're working with a spiritual practitioner to remove these entities, um, here's some wrong answers. Anybody who says they will bind, bury, or cast away a dark entity or a ghost is not of service. They are uneducated. They don't know what to do because they come back. If you bind and bury something into the earth that's that toxic, that's not good for the earth. If you cast them away, they can go to somebody else,
Yeah.
right? And so what we have to do is we have to send them back to God's source energy. When we send them back to the original source, it's above my pay grade, it's above your pay grade. Let the light side deal with it, but just know they will deal with it. And when we do this, this is going to free and liberate the planet and humanity. Recycling is not going to fix the planet. It's helpful, but it's not going to fix the planet.
Mhm.
We need to rid the planet of these luciferic forces.
Yeah, that's beautifully said, because yeah, that's so many people just only saying, "Oh, we're going to cut it off and I just only send it away." But where? Yeah, that's why also when I'm just when somebody is coming and when I'm doing my biofield clearing for the people, also I'm just only sending. I'm invoking also. I'm just only saying the beautiful words. I'm sending you to the light. I'm sending to you the source of the energy, to the God. So I'm just only giving them direction because they're going to be lost and they're going to possess another one, another human, another body.
Absolutely. We can
So
also bring in our angels to have them do the job for us.
yeah, yeah, that's beautifully. But how can, because I saw with a few video around it, and also how is that come that I'm so curious, and probably my audience is curious too. So if somebody goes that identity, like you just only mentioned around this girl, so where does that come from? Is that come from her previous life, or just only come from this lifetime? So how is that can happen?
It can come from many different elements. It can come through family lines.
Okay.
So, for example, a family line that has some type of addiction, alcohol or drug addiction, or if they have abuse patterns, that family line is being puppeted by dark entities. And if we
Mm.
can clear the family line back and forth, we rid the family line for future generations to be suffering from these afflictions also. But what we have to understand is there are as many of these nefarious entities, many types of them as there are, animals in a zoo. And I call it who's who in the spiritual zoo.
Yeah, please say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really fascinated. Yeah, please say that because there's so many
So
people just.
we just seem to think if we can send them enough love and light, they'll just like change and go away and be better. It doesn't really work that way. Um, every institution has a recruitment department, right?
Mhm.
Every governmental agency, every corporation, every school, every church, they have recruitments. So the dark side also recruits. So they're also trying to grow in their numbers as well. We just have to be smart about it. So at the most basic level, I'm just going to kind of go over some of the different types of entities
Okay.
and just, kind of in and out, because if I say something, it's, oh, somebody knows that, then maybe it can give them knowledge that they're not crazy. It is real. Okay. One are lower realm entities, and these are like long, wispy things. And these are the pawns on a chessboard. Their job is to harass us and extract our energy. So, for example, if you find that you're in your home and you have this crazy argument with your spouse or kid or whomever that makes no sense whatsoever, where did that anger and rage come from? Something evoked that within you. It wasn't part of your normal, natural setting. These are
Mhm.
lower realm entities. And I'm so sorry. I did not know she was in here.
It's okay. This is the life is all about. Last time,
So,
sorry, last time my daughter was singing in another room, and I
oh,
didn't stop her. She was singing, and you can go and rewatch my video, and you'll be hearing her voice.
excellent. All right. There might be a cat walking across here. I apologize. I did not know she was here. Um, so anyways, we have the lower realm entities, and we have what they do is they extract our energy and they give it to their bosses, and their bosses may be many different types of beings and entities, but these guys are the pawns, so they are always left hungry. So they always have to keep going back. And if they don't perform, then they will get punished. So we also have, and that's just one type. We have the Hat Man. Usually he is by himself and he's just observing and reporting. The Hat Man replies and responds to his teams, so to speak. And usually there's only one at a time. When there's one at a time and he just goes back and forth, do not engage with the Hat Man. Just ignore it, keep moving on. Bring in your angels, and we'll talk about angels in a minute. So sorry.
Nice. It's okay. Keep carry on. I've got the 2 cards. Don't worry.
Okay, I'm going to take her outside. Excuse me. I'm really sorry about this.
Let's go. Keep carry on.
It has never happened before. Sorry. Okay.
She's protecting.
She's very good. She's a great cat, but she doesn't need to be on the show.
It's not her show, not yet.
No.
She needs to wait.
Yeah, so we have the Hat Man, and we see him actually throughout the history of the world in different art pieces. In fact, a really good example of what the Hat Man does, they like to change our timelines. There's a Matt Damon movie. Oh my goodness, I can't remember it, but a Matt Damon movie where there's the Hat Men in it, and these guys wear hats, and when the hats are off, they lose their power. Very similar. And the Adjustment Bureau, that's what it is.
Oh, okay. I watched it. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Adjustment Bureau is actually quite accurate with the Hat Man, although in reality, they're much more nefarious than that. Then we have what I would call the standard black magician. And these guys are like the scraggly, bony, skeletal humanoids. They usually have scraggly hair and long nails. And these are pretty common, and they just kind of roam around trying to pick up souls that they can like harass, small groups and stuff like this, and then we can keep going and going. We even have like, the gray aliens. They exist. In fact, my very first podcast that I released, I don't release a lot of them because the podcasts I release are samples of client sessions, and I share the information. So, and it's on YouTube or Rumble, The Karmic Path. And in here, I did a past life regression on a woman who had missing time and weird physical ailments. And in that past life regression, her current life gray alien abductors showed up. And I contained them, and we did a very extensive Q&A with these gray aliens, and we learned a lot. So even the gray aliens, these are the ones, they abduct us and they do experiments on us. They have bred themselves out of their humanity, so to speak. They are more robotic in nature, and they're trying to reproduce themselves, but they can't anymore because they are more artificial than non. And so they do the abductions, they do that type of thing. Then we've got the reptilians, and we've heard a lot of reptilians, and the reptilians show up in our artwork also. They look like demons with scales, and maybe they have the 2 horns. These are reptilians, and each species has many different subspecies within them. So the same thing with the reptilians. The reptilians brought us communism to this planet. The grays brought us the commerce and that type of thing. So the grays are credits and debits, and the reptilians are, you will work for free and be grateful.
That's
So
right.
this is where our humanity has adopted these thought processes, these institutions, is from these beings that we don't see. It's not fair. We don't see them. We don't know they exist. What do we do about it? We have to come to terms with, okay, they exist. And we can take our power back from them. And a lot of the work I do is usually on soul reclamation. We hear about soul retrieval a lot and things like that. And so when I'm working with somebody, one of the biggest misunderstandings we have as humanity. And I'm going to ask this rhetorical question is why do we have this misunderstanding? And the misunderstanding is that when a living person dies and they do not cross over, that's okay. Every living person, every human soul who leaves their bodies, we need to go home to the heavens, to source, to God. We do not linger here as a ghost. What happens is these dark entities need ghost energy to sustain themselves. They left the light of God. They no longer have an energy source. So they're looking at humanity as their energy source. So we have been told, and again, by whom, right? That a bad person must rot in hell. Well,
Yeah,
a bad person needs to go home to heaven to be rehabilitated.
yeah,
Letting a
that's right.
bad person rot in hell means a couple of things. If he's a jerk in life, he's a jerk in death, and he can haunt and harass the living. He can also reincarnate, come back to the earth plane in a physical body from the lower astral. Not all babies are heaven sent. That is a really big aha moment for a lot of people. We think that the heaven world is in charge of all the reincarnation, but it's not. So when a soul comes back from the fourth dimension, reincarnated from there, they come back needing soul restoration, healing, and a lot of other elements they were never afforded had they have gone home and crossed over. And when a person reincarnates from the higher realms, they come back, he restoreth my soul. With this restored soul, more fortified, more able to take the hits, because living a life on earth is not easy. And another constant ghost myth is that they didn't mean to die, or they were too young, they had unfinished business. Those are all, again, misnomers. It's not us to say if they had unfinished business or not. They're out of their bodies, their karmic time here is done, they need to go home. Children almost never cross over. And this is multifaceted.
Okay.
And in my book, Soul Tribe Navigating the Spiritual War, there are prayers in there to help anybody cross over their loved one. Children almost always never cross over because, one, when a child dies, we perceive it as it's not the natural order of things. And the amount of grief and despair the parents and the loved ones in the family have is huge. And what happens is those grief ties bind. And they get held here, not out of maliciousness, not out of anything nefarious, but out of love, right? We don't want to see our loved one go. They also may not cross over because when they die, they're still, their human mind construct is they're a child, and they're looking for help in crossing over, or what to do. It's like, I've left my body, where do I go? I see a light over there, but where's my mommy? Where's my daddy? And so we don't teach people what to do upon death. If we were to start teaching people what to do upon death, like the Tibetans do, it would be a much different planet. So we need to really think about this. 100% of people who die need to cross over and go home and not remain stuck between heaven and earth, because the land between heaven and earth is actually the hells. They may appear happy, they may appear these things, but over time, their soul starts to erode and they become weaker and weaker, and then they become food or fuel for the dark side. So we need to cross over all souls that have passed away, no matter if they were well loved, if they were a jerk, if they were young, if they were old. It's really important that we change our mindset on this, because then it's logical. Well, of course we want our loved ones to go home to heaven, right?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
But also, I
And
would like to say something, because you've been saying about this death and crossover. So we need to begin, and we need to go and change the educational system at the school. Why we not Yeah, that's a lot of stuff, isn't it? We are a bit suppressed, be afraid about the death because that's so tragic and that's so, oh, you need to be afraid, really. And that's why the fear is being created, that energy, that food for them. We know what we're
Yes.
talking about. So that's why we are just only really afraid for dying. But the dying is a rebirth. We're going to relax. We're going to, from my point of view, I'm going to go back to home. I'm going to have a
Right.
happy, enjoy my reincarnation, or if you would like to come back again here, okay, fine. If not, I'm going to stay over there. But yeah, that's the way. That's the way. As long as we're going to understand we are the energy, we are the soul, we won't be afraid about the death. We'll be, I'm not saying looking forward, but definitely
Right.
we'll be chilling out. Yeah.
Oh, and I talk when I go out and speak, I talk about soul health. We talk about our mental health, our physical health, our emotional health, our financial health, but we never talk about our soul health.
Yeah.
And the soul is the energy that animates the body. When we can start addressing the soul energy and heal the soul energy, those fears go away. The logic resumes, right? The truth, the emotional truth starts to appear before us. And what a wonderful way to live life, right?
Yeah. That would be amazing to have a, yeah, because I know from my perspective, I know from my experience, when I just only removed a lot of fears from my core, from my ancestral pattern, wow, it's completely different way to see the life. Sometimes if the challenge is coming and I'm facing them, I'm seeing them from the completely different lenses and I'm sending the love to that humans. I had a few challenges in the couple of days ago, and that was another human, that was another soul, another entity came to me in the human form. But I just only look at straight away in that eyes and just only send them to I mean, not to the God, but definitely I was sending lots of love and peace. And that was a completely like they told me, oh, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I said, you don't have to, but I'm sending you lots of love and happiness. And everything went well. So yeah, so we need to have that encouragement, isn't it? Inside us.
It is. And when we can exude that, like you're talking about, it echoes out. It becomes a karmic ripple effect, right? And we need more of that in this world because we're so fear-based at the moment. We need to break those shackles. One of the things that we can do is learn how to grow our spiritual teams. We just assume that they're there, right? We just assume that, oh, they're here. We also just many of us just trust like, oh, this is my guy. This is Archangel Michael. This is,
Yeah.
whatever. How do we know we're not being duped? Because I tell you what, these dark entities, they're shapeshifters. They can create holograms. They can mess with our minds. So how do we know it's the real deal? And in my book, again, Soul Tribe Navigating the Spiritual War, I talk about what you can do to take your power back. How do you vet your guides? One of the things that we can do, and you don't have to see, a lot of times people think, well, I'm not psychic. I can't see
Mhm.
whatever these beings are, but we can sense them. We may see something out of the corner of our eye. We can feel them. And if we kind of meditate and just kind of like get centered and learn how they feel, that's the start. And by the way, as you are doing this, you're going to visualize yourself pouring salt on them. Salt cleanses in all dimensions. So as you close your eyes and you can think in your mind's eye, and if uh, we're working on some visualization practices, we can visualize this pen and I'm just going to visualize myself pouring salt on it.
Mhm.
Okay. You're going to do this to your guides every single time. Never trust your guide as who they say they are because imposters happen. So if you pour salt on them and they shapeshift or they somehow change, don't think you weren't good enough. Think, oh, phew, I dodged a bullet. Because if we let the imposters in, even, a speck into the doorway, they can keep making the crack bigger and bigger and bigger. So we can pour frankincense on them also. Frankincense oil, again, back to the beginning of the conversation, it's a very high
Yeah.
frequency substance. And so you can start to call in your angels. And, another pre-programmed belief is that well, my problems aren't big enough for an angel, right? Or I'm not worthy of an angel's help. Well, I'm going to just remove all that for everybody right now, and you're just going to have to believe me. Okay, God gifted humans angels to help us on our human journey. Angels earn karma. Angels ascend in their ranks, just like the dark side does, so do angels. So the more we can utilize angels for help, even the most mundane thing, like finding a good parking spot, the angels can assist us, and the more they assist us, the more experience they get, and the more they can ascend in their rankings. So use your angels. Okay, all right, angels, I'm going, it's, let's say it's the Christmas time or whatever it is, and it's parking is crazy. I'm asking for a really good parking spot today because I'm in a hurry. I've got a sick kid or whatever it is. Just ask for that help and start and just like relax and watch. There will be somebody leaving a spot that's close. And sometimes we need the extra walk. That's fine. We can ask angels to assist our children in school if they're minors, if they're children, not 42-year-olds returning to college.
No, it's not, no. But actually as well, because why not? Why not? Because I'm still drawing. I'm still drawing the bubble around my kids when they're going to school every time, every morning and every evening when they're going to bed. So yes, it doesn't matter how old they might be.
Yeah, as long as if we're supporting, so we're looking at spiritual law, as long as we're supporting our children financially and they're not able to live on their own, they're still under our jurisdiction.
That's
So
true.
if our kids are, 30 years old and still living in the basement and playing video games all day, we've got other issues. But when it comes to, up to 18, 20, whatever that is, we have the spiritual jurisdiction. I'm going to fill my daughter's room with angels to protect her. I'm going to fill my daughter's room with angels to help her sleep tonight. Make the request. I'm requesting a trio of angels to be with my daughter right now. And if your kids are starting to drive, I've got actually, excuse me, a really good story on that is one of my daughters had a 9-month concussion. She fell from a cheerleading pyramid. And
Okay.
so she had to learn how to read again. It was really, really bad. So she got her driver's license really late, and she also was a surfer. So she finally gets her driver's license and says, "Mom, can I drive myself to the beach to go surfing?" This is in San Diego. And of course, well, the night before I get this really bad feeling and I'm like, "No, you can't go. You're going to be in an accident. It's going to be a drunk driver," I'm telling her. And she's like, World War III erupted in my home. My whole family is like, "Look, Mom, you got to stop being weird. We got you right." And I can respect that. And I thought, okay, so I can't stop her from driving herself to the beach to go surfing because I made the promise that she could go do it, right? So what is my plan B? My plan B was I requested an entourage of angels to be with her inside the car, outside the car to help guide her drive the car, help her with surfing and come back. So I asked for the angels to be with her from the moment she left our driveway to the moment she returned.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, about 10 minutes after she left, we get a phone call from my daughter. And she says, "Mom, I was hit by a truck and I'm okay, but can you come and get me?" By the time we got there, the police were there, everybody was there, and the police officer looks at me and he says, "I don't know how your daughter's car did not flip over based on the impact." He says, "I guarantee you that driver was drunk. So she has a small car, he had a big truck."
Yeah, so that's
He's
crucial.
Yes. And so what happened, she goes, "Mom, it was the weirdest thing. It was like my car floated to the side of the road and stopped." That's the power of angels. Even the police officer didn't understand how my daughter wasn't seriously crushed on that freeway. And these are San Diego freeways that they are not for the faint of heart.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, so use your angel, use them for your kids, use them for yourself. Use them if you have a job interview coming up. Ask for the angels to guide your words for the best possible outcome. You can't tell the angels to make sure that I get the job over everybody else, because that's violating everybody else's free will. But you can ask for the wise words to come out of your mouth. And so use your angels. The more you use your angels, the bigger your spiritual team grows. And I don't know about you, but I want a giant spiritual team, right?
Yeah. So for me, that's a wow, that's a mind blowing what you just said about your story, about your daughter's story. Because on actually yesterday night, because I was assisting, I was holding the space. I had a session with the others souls, and when I was driving to that place, and I was in the evening, 7, 8 p.m. And then I felt that energy was trying to me squish and pushed me. And that was low vibration energy. And then I saw that energy in front of me because they pushed the fox in front of me on the road. And the fox just only ran away to the middle of the road and just only slowly come back. And then I said, oh, and I just only lift up my head up. I said, thank you, angels. Thank you, spirit. Thank you so much. And then that was another thing. I was driving straight away. And then my intuition or my angels just only stopped me because I was almost be hit by car on the roundabout. They didn't put any indication they turning in a specific way. I said, oh God, what's going on today? I was protected to be in that place. So yes, I strongly believe, actually, I believe that's my name is not just coincidence, just only for the reason. So definitely, I've got lots of different spiritual beings around me, but a real one, really pure real one. I have got a lot of signs. Sometimes I'm on the M3, and the different entity trying to push me away. I felt sometimes my car was like I'm driving very 50 or 60 for my miles per hour, so I'm not driving very fast. But I'm just only feeling my car was like a push on the other side. I'm saying, what's going on? And I'm just only saying to that entity, just go away. You're not belonging here. Go back to the sender. I don't know. I'll just go back to the light. If I'm the emotions, that kind of a thing. So I know. And then my question is around why we are just only being attacked, why we are just only being another question. If we are just only shining the much more light inside, lighter or just only brighter, they've got a much more I can say attraction, or we attracted them much more. Or maybe
So,
we've got a different purpose, or maybe we've got a big mission on the planet Earth.
well, right now more than ever, okay, I'll back up a little bit. When Lucifer left the light of God, he took a bunch of entities with him. And I call this the Luciferic forces, and they can be fallen angels, they can be gray aliens, they can be black magicians, they can be everything, the who's who in the spiritual zoo. When they left the light of God, they no longer had an energy source. So they would starve. They no longer have energy to sustain themselves, and they look at humanity, and ours is not the only planet they have inflicted this on. So they're looking at humanity saying, okay, these humans are of God's source energy. We can tap into them. So we live in the third dimension of physicality, time, space, gravity, to have these earthly experiences. That's the third dimension. The fourth dimension is what we call the hells or limbo now. Originally, the fourth dimension, when we die and leave these bodies, we're supposed to use this fourth dimension as a step up transformer to go back up to the fifth and higher dimensions. The fourth dimension got hijacked along the way, which is why Jesus came here, was to help humanity to remember. He didn't come here so he could die for our sins for billions of people for in perpetuity. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
He came here to mitigate the karma caused by the Lucifer rebellion. So these entities have hijacked the fourth dimension. They basically have cast a net over it. And they try to trap souls because this is how they have to sustain themselves at this point in time. Humanity is getting smarter and wiser with it. And some people shine more brightly than others. Those are the threats. So if we can dull people down with jabs, with, junk TV, junk food, things like that, it dulls us down so we are easier to attain. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's definitely.
And so while we're doing this, and if there's anything anybody can take away from this, is know we all have a higher purpose. We all have something very valuable to offer, and everybody's offerings are different. And that's the beauty of humanity. If we were all the same, we'd be robots, right? So we
Yeah, by
go
the way,
ahead.
just only mentioned that only some people just only behave as a robot because they don't have too much soul left inside themselves because they've been hijacked by, and sometimes they're not aware. But my question is also around the children because may I just only bring some story around the kids? She was 11 years old, and I went to that spiritual event a few days ago, and she came to me with her mom, and her mom, she doesn't know anything about seeing another souls, another ghost, another light beings. So she just only came to me. By the way, she came the second time because in that place I was last year. And last year I brought and she brought attention to me, and we just only met each other. Even she was 11 years old, she came to me and just only we were talking with her mom as well. So yeah, and this 2 days ago, when she came to me and she sat down straight away on the chair in front of me, I said, "Oh my goodness, I've got a session with her." I said, "No, I don't. But I would like to only ask her very nicely and friendly." And she started talking about her. Oh, did you saw the orbs?
I did. There's the second one I've seen. There was one down by your name earlier, and it was more
Yeah,
green, more circular. Yeah.
they're just okay. By the way, so she came and she sat down in front of me and she started talking because she thought about her grandpa, and also she was talking about her brother who passed away recently. And then she knows, and she told me, okay, I'm seeing them, but they've got a specific place in the house. So we go that place so we can go and meet each other. And they're talking and protecting me as well. But she also told me, and she was worried a little bit because I sent that energy. That's why she came to me. Because one day she said to me, she was sitting at home and she saw a different kind of the ghost coming entrance to the door because there the door opened spontaneously without any sign, and she saw the two energy. So there was a two white energy on the side, and that was her description with outline, and also the dark energy with outline, just only very pure dark energy, and they were walking close to her. When I asked her, "Did you been afraid or scared?" and she said yes. So also she described me how the difference between the demon and that the angel's energy and the living soul energy. So what is your view on it? Is she
She's
in the
very
danger?
psychic. Quite possibly. Mom and dad need to be educated, and this is what I was dealing with my children. I didn't know what I didn't know. And in the beginning, I was pretty psychic as a kid, but it went away as I grew up because my parents were like, "Don't be weird," right? And and so I had to figure some things out because we were under assault by these dark ones. So my advice for any mom or dad in this position that has a child who is sensitive to these energies, do not ever give them anything like tarot cards or a Ouija board, ever. Stay away from opal stones also, because these are the elements the dark side likes to use, especially with children, to get access to them. If you have to flip a card to figure out who or what you're talking to, you can't guarantee who or what you're talking to. And so learn some really good techniques. I actually am launching a spiritual self-defense class online on demand to help people in these situations. It's ready to go. I just have not put it out there yet.
Good, good.
And I'm trying to make all of this as cost affordable as possible because it's about getting the word out versus making money. Yes, I have to pay a mortgage and that kind of stuff too, but it's really about getting the information out. So parents of children who are psychic, there's a lot of them coming in. Don't trust who or what you think they're discussing or talking with. And salt the entities, pour frankincense on the entities, bring in angels from the higher realms to remove any and all darknesses right now. There's no time in these other dimensions. So the words right now on earth carry a lot of weight in the other dimensions. I'm requesting the angels remove the dark entities that are in my house right now and take them back to God's source. It can be that simple. Start studying. I'm trying to think of some of my favorite books that have been helpful. Gosh, I'm drawing a blank right now. Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian Weiss is a really good, easy, simple one.
Mhm.
I'm just trying, gosh, I can't believe I have like a whole library of them. I can't think of any of them right now. It's kind of crazy.
It's okay.
I've got so much information coming through me. Even my book, Soul Tribe Navigating the Spiritual War, it's designed to help people. I literally 100% of the proceeds, which is not much, goes to a foundation to help people help themselves. So give yourself the tools to start preparing to deal with the dark side, these dark entities. Don't think that you're above it. Never, ever think that you're above it. In fact, the last podcast I released, I think it was called Claw Hands. It was this new entity, and my spiritual team got compromised. And I'm showing people in the YouTube video, even my spiritual team got compromised by imposters. And I do this all day long, every day for people. So if my team can get compromised, anybody's team can get compromised. And I'm not saying that from an ego point of view. So we had to take a step back, redirect, regroup, and move forward. And that's okay. We need to understand that sometimes the light side wants to test us to see what we've learned. They will allow the dark elements to come at us to toughen us up so we can learn from them. So in my darkest days, when we had also had this three-headed crocodile roaming around the house in the ether, it would terrify the animals. I knew it was there, but I had to, the light side kind of let it roam around for a bit because they wanted me to figure out how to take care of it.
Okay.
How to remove it. So when we do that, we gain our power back, we gain our autonomy back. So what we perceive, and I would get so angry at God in those days. How could you let this happen to my family? How could you let this happen to my little girl? I was so angry at God because I just wanted my nice little comfortable life as a school teacher, and my husband was a businessman, and kids playing soccer on the weekends or whatever. That was never in the cards, and that's okay. I had to pivot, but I'm very blessed to be able to do what I do, to be able to help people in these unusual manners. I'm very blessed. I am so lucky to be able to do what I do, but I had to work my way to that point, right?
Yeah, that's completely true. Yeah, sometimes we are just only taking easy. We would like to take everything easy and just only take everything for granted. But also, you mentioned that movie, The Bureau, and that was an amazing movie. I would like to recommend everyone to watch it, rewatch it, watch it, rewatch it. Yeah, because that's also that's a confirmation, and also that's the people can visualize how is that works actually.
Yeah, and how the dark side changes our free will. So in the movie The Adjustment Bureau, the Hat Man, there's several of them.
I know.
They're compromising the hero's free will.
At the
He
end.
had to work through it. And you'll see when they take the hat off, right? They lose their power.
That's
So
true.
they are not all powerful. Being in a physical body has its advantages when it comes to dealing with the psychic paranormal stuff. Because we're in a physical body, it gives us spiritual jurisdiction to remove them much easier. And there's many types of hauntings, and we think of the dead people haunting the living people, though all the living people can haunt the dead people, and that's true with it when a child dies, right? The dark entities can haunt the living, and the dark entities can haunt the dead. But the most difficult haunting to deal with, and you touched on this, is the living haunting the living. When a living person
True.
haunts a living person, living people can be jerks, let's face it.
Yeah, definitely like that. Yeah,
But
so we
with the
need to.
ghost or dark entity, we can move them on. With the living people, not so much.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. That's a lot of things which is only touch on it. So, what about was that energy? That was the entity energy, or that when they enter in that?
That was more than likely it was a dark entity entering into a crack within her foundation to see how far they could get.
Yeah,
And it was flanked by two light beings, which meant it wasn't going to get too far. And it could have been the light side teaching the young girl boundaries, right? And
yeah,
so, and these things are terrifying on a good day. Um, and so how do you close that up? How do you protect, bring in, bringing in Jesus, bringing in God, bringing in angels? Those are really good basic steps that everybody can do. And for anybody, another tip on how to go shields up for these dark entities, it's using a green nightlight. And this little girl may find this to be very helpful. A green nightlight at night can create a frequency barrier for these dark entities.
hmm,
The frequency of green at night makes it really difficult for them to get through that. So she may want to try something like that, playing Mozart music. Essential oils can play a really big part in it too. If you have an essential oil diffuser, just letting that go with frankincense in it or orange oil or whatever. All essential oils are high frequency. Just know that, but some are, they all have different frequencies, and frankincense is kind of pricey. So you can take a drop of frankincense and like 5 drops of lavender. You can mix and match. You can make it go longer. If you're dealing with night terrors at night or sleep paralysis, you want to really work on shoring up the frequency of your home to remove them. And night terrors and sleep paralysis are unfortunately more common than not. With sleep paralysis, it's usually an archon energy that will just start draining your energy, and you're literally frozen there while they drain your energy. It sounds terrifying, and it is. Um,
right.
but to take our power back. Green light at night, essential oils. You can put essential oil on your solar plexus, which is right here in the breastbone, your third eye, your feet. That helps a lot. You can use a carrier oil such as jojoba oil, grapeseed oil, any oil, and mix it with essential oils so it lasts longer, and you can put it like on your feet. Jesus had his feet anointed with oil all the time. Why?
That's
Because,
right.
right, it's a safety protocol. So, I know that was a lot of information in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's a yeah. I would like to ask you more and more and more, but yeah, that will. We have just only been over the 1 hour,
We
so I
have
would.
had that.
Yeah, so I think so. That's also I'm just only feeling like, oh, I need to finish. So I've got that sense, and I just said, okay, that's completely enough. So let's go save something for the later on. If you would like to come back, of course, and talk a little bit more, because I've seen a lot of implants. Oh, that's how etheric implants. I would like to talk a little bit more around it as well, and maybe about your remote viewing. That would be amazing to have you again. But of course, if you accepted my invitation for another podcast,
Absolutely, we can do this. It's important to have the information out there. And
nowadays,
we got through a lot of information. It's just the tip of the iceberg still, right?
I know, when you're
Yeah.
going dive deep in. So I've got the two questions. I always am asking the people who is coming to my podcast. When you had a really challenging time in your life, what helped you and how did you support yourself to
My
go
God.
through?
Um,
Any
I
song, mantra, and that kind of dance, or maybe
so
sing?
I learned a lot about fear, and this helped me. Fear in small doses keeps us safe, right? Oh, don't turn left. Oh, there goes a car running a red light. Fear in large doses is paralyzing. And in those dark days where we were so heavily invaded, I had to push past the paralyzing fears every single day for years on end. And it gave me the stamina and fortitude I need today. So when we're going through those dark moments, those difficult times, ask yourself, where do you think you're going to be a year from now? Where do you want to be a year from now? And look towards the future. But remember that fear in small doses keeps us safe. Fear in large doses does just the opposite.
That's amazing. Where people can find you and what do you offer for them?
I do work with clients on an individual basis. We work anything. It can be a spiritual consultation. It can be removing entities, and anything in between. It's at the THE Karmic, KARMIC path, PATH.com. thekarmicpath.com is where you can find me. You can watch my YouTube videos on Instagram or Facebook, Twitter, anywhere. You can find me anywhere on those.
That's amazing. So I'm going to leave all the information below this video so that people can reach you very quickly and easily. And then if they would like to, they can going to book a session with you. But also I'm inviting them to go when you're going to launch this program or this workshop.
I think it's going to be March 1st. And
Oh, wow.
what I want to do is I want to offer a free visualization course teaching people how to visualize and how to vet the spiritual teams. And it's just, again, it's to build community, to help each other. And at that, I'm going to launch the courses also. So if you sign up for my email list, you'll get all that information quite readily. But I'm looking at March 1st to formally release it. They are on my website right now. I just have not fully promoted them yet. I've been busy traveling and creating and writing books number 2 and 3.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Wow.
Oh, I
So
know.
excited. Excited. This is a life about, that's your experience. You're taking your life fully. You're not waiting for the better
I'm
days.
going full speed ahead because we are at the 11th hour, and the more people where we can help each other, the better this is going to be. So
That's
thank
right.
you. Thank you for the time here, and thank you very much for having me here today. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, that's so amazing to having you. Yeah, that's always the angel sent me you to having you in the podcast today. So that's always like that. I've just only asked and I said, okay, I would like to have a 3 podcasts this week. And now, yes, I've got. Yeah, thank you so much, Anna. We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Gabriela.
Thank you.